today we are working Psalm 46. In Psalm magic, some traditional uses for Psalm 46 include to increase spiritual zeal, to settle any quarrel, to soothe marital tensions, to improve one's faith in one's inner guidance. Remember also that Psalm 46 is one of the 5 contractual psalms. And while it's true that any psalm can be used for any purpose, that's especially true for the contractual psalms. And so today I would like to use Psalm 46 to solve any problem, big or small, no matter what it is, in any category. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is called an incantation. After we finished with that, we go back through that psalm, one verse at a time in order, and we consider each verse and search for hidden meanings that lie within each verse. And as we find those meanings, we try to apply them to whatever the situation is that we brought to the psalm. And it's by doing all of this that we dislodge the magical seeds that are inherent in the psalm and allow them to be planted in the depths of our minds, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that is exactly what we are going to do together right now with Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. The opening phrase is not addressing the Lord or God directly. It is describing a condition. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And so when we get these kinds of instructive verses in the Psalms, I like to think of them as the inner guide giving us direction, telling us that God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. Whenever we feel like we're in trouble, whenever we feel like nothing is working for us, this is a reminder that there is help, no matter what it is. From the perspective of the infinite, there is no big or small, difficult or easy. There's only true and false, and the infinite is true. So God is our refuge and our strength. The strength in the Psalms usually is describing a military strength. When God is your strength, that means you don't need to be defensive. You don't need to attack. You don't need to fight the battle. It is being fought on your behalf if you allow it. But remember that we have free will. And if we take up arms for ourselves, if we defend ourselves, if we fight the battle ourselves, then the infinite has to step aside and let us do that because that's our choice. But here we're saying, no, God is our refuge and our strength. So we are protected and the battle is fought and won. A very present help in trouble. It's not an idea of help. It's not the hope of help. It's a very real and present help. And it's right here, right now. Now, when we say God, we have to remind ourselves that we're not speaking of a separate deity. In magic, God or the Lord are symbols for the one power, the one force, the one source in all the universe. There is but one, and therefore nothing can oppose it, and nothing can thwart it because there is nothing but this one force. All else besides this one force is illusion. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. I took verses 2 and 3 together because I like the flow there. It's describing a physical earthquake, a really bad one, the kind that makes new continents. And it's using that very scary symbol to represent whatever it is that we've brought to the psalm. We're declaring, and we're being guided by this inner guide to declare that there is nothing to fear. Whatever is being presented to us by our senses as being so terrible and so bad and so scary and unsolvable is nothing to the infinite. And therefore we have nothing to fear, because as we described in the earlier verse, if we allow this force to be our defense and our strength, and we don't interfere, it's taken care of. Though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. And then it ends those two verses with Selah. Selah directs us to sit in silence for a moment and take it in, just to allow that to settle in. The idea that no matter what, there is a help that's available to us right now. We don't have to wait. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. The city of God and the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High exist in you. Each of us has connection to that. Any external temple, tabernacle, place of worship, stone circle is a pale representation of the true temple that was established in us by the infinite. We didn't have to build this temple. It was established by the infinite. That altar is in our hearts. It's in our minds. And it's saying that within that, there is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God. So that place within you is a place of gladness when you allow the current of this magic to flow. The stream is always there, but if we don't place ourselves by the stream, if we don't take the benefit of the nourishing stream, it's as if it doesn't exist. This is one of the most important verses in all the book of Psalms, I think. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High, and that's in you. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The her is that city within you. That city within you is your true nature. It's who you really are. As we said before, this was created for you by the infinite. You didn't make yourself. You didn't create yourself. And you didn't create the city that exists within you. But it is your gift. And it was created as an extension of the light and love of the Creator. God is in the midst of her, and that is within you. And that's why we say God is in you. We always use this image, but I love it. Think of a beautiful star, just this glorious star. Think of our own star. Think of the sun. And it's just shining brightly. All these rays of light emanating from this sun. You can see how the ray didn't create the sun, but is part of the sun. You didn't create yourself, you didn't create God, but you are one with God. You are the same substance as God. You have the same power as God. You have the same identity as God. You're of the same fabric as God. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The her that's within you is your true self. You will not be moved because you are a solid beam of light, an extension of the infinite. Nothing can touch you. Nothing can harm you. And when it says, and that right early, God helps you immediately. It happens immediately. The second you need help, the help has already been established. And the only reason we ever need help is because we've thought outside of the infinite. If we always keep our minds on the infinite, if we were able to do that all the time, there would never be need for help. But any time that we stray, the infinite notices and gives us the help. But again, we have the freedom to think anything we want to think, to do anything we want to do. And if we decide that we're going to think apart from the infinite and do separately from the infinite has given us the freedom to do that and patiently waits for us to come back. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The heathen are errant thought forms. And so we can see how our errant circumstances are a reflection of the errant thought forms within our mind and the mind of collective humanity. When the heathen rage within, then our circumstances rage without, and then we have these problems. The kingdoms were moved, and that's when we get panicked. When our money fails, our relationship fails, our health fails, disaster happens to us, those are the kingdoms being moved by those raging heathen. When we remind ourselves of the truth of this psalm and we make sure that we are at one with our Creator, then when our Creator utters His voice, the earth melts. All of the problems melt, no matter what. There's no big and small. It all works according to the infinite's will. So as long as we allow the infinite's will to move through us, all is well. When we don't allow the infinite's will to move through us, we get problems. And the good news is, the infinite doesn't hold any of that against us. So as soon as we move back into the infinite's will, the infinite will correct it all, no matter what. Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations He hath made in the earth. The desolations made in the earth by the Lord, and remember the Lord is just another name for the one power. Come, behold the works of this power, what desolations He hath made in the earth. In other words, look and see how many times you thought you were up against it, nothing was going to work for you, and it worked out. That's a desolation on the earth. Anytime the problem gets annihilated, that's a desolation on the earth from the Lord. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. So in this psalm, the problem that these people seem to be going through happened to be about war. But let's look at that war as being whatever our problem is that's eating us up, that seems to be attacking us. Whatever we've brought to the psalm is a type of war against us. We can think of it as the ego warring against us. It's usually types of self-destruction that the ego wars with, but whatever it is, looking at it as a war, when we give the battle to the infinite rather than fighting it on our own, what happens is all of the instruments of war are destroyed. The bow is broken. The spear is cut. Now, a spear, that's a pretty strong thing, but it's just cut. The chariot, back then, that would be similar to a tank, what we might call a tank now, it's burned. Imagine a tank being just burned up spontaneously, just burned to nothing. That's how little the infinite cares about what is difficult and easy, because nothing is difficult, nothing is easy. It's all the same to the infinite. So no matter what your problem is, no matter how big your tank, no matter how big the army seems to be that is coming up against you, the infinite can and will, in an instant, destroy all those instruments of war so that you are protected, you are safe, and whatever the situation is, works out beautifully. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Out of the blue, the infinite speaks to us directly. No longer is this the inner guide. If it is the inner guide, it's the inner guide channeling the infinite, but it's the infinite speaking to us in the first person. Be still and know that I am God. This instruction, this is another one of the most powerful verses in all the book of Psalms. It's the instruction on how to get whatever it is fixed, whatever it is handled, to be still and know that the infinite is the infinite. Just know it, because if you can't be still and know that, then you are contributing to the problem. You're ruminating, you're spinning your wheels, you're coming up with your own ideas, you're doing all kinds of stuff. But if you learn to be still and know that the infinite is on it and knows exactly what to do, concerned with you personally, wants to make sure that you have this problem solved and that you're happy. That's all the infinite cares about, is that you're happy and that all is well in your life. Just being still and knowing that is the most important instruction. It gives right of way to the infinite because you're no longer resisting it. You're no longer resisting the infinite. You're no longer resisting the problem. A lot of times we are in the throes of our problem and somebody says something like this and our first reaction is, I'm not resisting it. Of course I want to solve this problem. That's why I'm so busy. That's understandable, but it's ineffective according to this psalm. Instead of that, it's saying, take a moment, be still, relax. Let the infinite do it. Let God do it. Know that God is God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Two things that are happening with that. First, the infinite is exalted among the heathen. All those errant thought forms that are causing the problem, the infinite is exalted, not those thought forms anymore. Those thought forms are either cleaned up or eliminated because the infinite is what's in charge, not the errant thought forms. And then, as a result of that, the infinite is exalted in the earth. The earth is the manifestation of whatever it is that you've brought to the psalm. The situation itself as it is manifested. That is cleaned up as a result of this. First, the errant thought forms are cleaned up, and then, as a result of that, the manifestation is cleaned up. And it all happens through you, but not from you. And the hardest discipline, the most challenging discipline that we have is to sit back and let it happen for us. To sit back and let it happen for us. It sounds so easy, but it can be very challenging because we have been told that it's up to us. We have to do it. And here it's giving us information that's turning that on its head. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. The Lord of hosts. Which hosts are we talking about? The angelic hosts, armies, the stars, everything. The Lord of hosts. The infinite is in charge of all of it. And everything that the infinite creates is real and eternal, peaceful, joyous, and perfect. Everything else doesn't really exist. It's in the realm of illusion, but the infinite has the power to overcome those illusions if we allow it. And that's the big if. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Anytime the Psalms talks about Jacob, it's a reminder that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to give it your best. Do your very best. Call on the infinite. Allow yourself to be still and know that the infinite's on it. Allow it to happen for you. And if you need to be doing things, you will be guided. You will be shown what to do, but you don't need to come up with it all by yourself. You need to allow the infinite to do it for you and through you. And when you do that, you get all the success that you want, all the happiness that you want, all the relief that you need. There's nothing withheld from you, but it's up to you to keep that mind centered on the infinite and allowing yourself to let go and let the infinite lead the way, to relax and know that it's all working out for you. It's a very powerful psalm, and you just keep coming back to it every single day, the same psalm. And you work on it once a day. If you need to work on it more than once a day, you can. But you do that at least once a day until you get a sense. You get the sense of peace and certainty about the situation. You get an understanding that it is working out and you don't have to worry about it anymore. And when you get that sense of peace and certainty, you know that that means your spell is cast. It is complete. And you don't need to work on it anymore. In fact, it's best if you don't work on it anymore. You put it out of mind and just move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.